Hi, I'm Rachel Slidell, and this is my audience. When you look at someone smoking a cigarette, do you think about how cool and good that cigarette is, or do you think about the millions of toxins that they are breathing in that moment? Sometimes the harm that cigarette brings to your body is overlooked because of how the media used to portray it. I grew up surrounded by cigarettes as my whole family smoked. My grandma actually died of lung cancer from smoking her whole life, which pushed me to do more research on the negative consequences of cigarettes. And today, I'm going to inform you on those negative consequences. First, we are going to start with a little bit of history and background on cigarettes, and then we will delve into the individual consequences that cigarettes bring, as well as the harm that they bring to those surrounded by cigarette smoke through secondhand smoke. Cigarettes were highly acceptable before 1969 when the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act was put in place, which required the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to annually publish a report on the negative consequences of cigarette smoking. They also created their own department called the Public Health Service Office of Smoking and Health. Through this, we have made many discoveries on the negative consequences of cigarette smoke, and we have found out a ton that is in cigarettes. There's over 4,000 chemicals found in cigarettes, which 43 of those are carcinogenic, which is cancer-causing, and 400 other toxins. Here's a photo of some household items that are found in cigarettes. Do you remember when you were younger and your mom used to tell you not to breathe in the fumes when she was cleaning the bathroom? Well, ammonia is an active ingredient in toilet bowl cleaner, and it is also found in cigarettes. So what your mom was telling you not to inhale, you are inhaling directly through cigarette smoke. A couple others include butane, methanol, and even paint. Here is a short Camel commercial done in 1949. This video shows a doctor advocating the use of cigarettes. He's a prestigious man, so they're showing that prestigious men can smoke cigarettes, so you should smoke cigarettes too. It also shows how naive they were on the health that the cigarettes would affect. Now, we have a Surgeon General warning on every pack of cigarettes in the United States. This has a few lists of the consequences of smoking cigarettes, but not all of them. In other countries, they have explicit photos showing real-life people suffering from the consequences of smoking cigarettes. This is used to deter people from smoking and shows what can truly happen from smoking cigarettes. Now that we've discussed the history and research done for cigarettes, we can delve into the individual consequences of cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is like paying to kill yourself. You're investing money in something with short-term satisfaction and long-term health effects. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, cigarette smoking is the #1 preventable disease deaths in the United States, accounting for 480,000 deaths per year and 1,300, which is about 1,300 deaths per day. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, coronary heart disease and stroke are the first and third leading cause of death in the United States and are also the primary cardiovascular diseases caused by cigarette smoking. As we all know, there are a ton of cancers that can develop from cigarette smoking, such as lung cancer, liver cancer, pancreas cancer, and even a few others that we don't think about, like bladder and cervical cancer. We also forget that cigarettes affect all organs of the body and can cause other diseases such as periodontitis, which is a gum disease, arthritis, and even diabetes. Some short-term effects of cigarette smoking is a suppressed appetite, an aroused mental state, and even muscle fatigue. Some other long-term effects would be addiction and craving to nicotine, wrinkly skin, and stained fingers. As you can see in this 52-year-old woman who has been smoking her whole life, she has been affected by cigarettes. Her face looks a lot older than 52 as it has been wrinkled and deformed, and she has to use a tube in her throat to communicate. She got throat cancer and can no longer communicate properly with others. She will never sound like a real human. As cigarettes are extremely detrimental to our individual health, they are also extremely harmful to those around cigarettes. Secondhand smoke is extremely dangerous and affects those who don't want to be affected, and they just have to deal with the repercussions. A study done in May of 2005 by Joaquin Barnoa and Stanton Glantz did research on the mechanisms that are affected in the body by secondhand smoke. First of all, they discovered that secondhand smoke affects these mechanisms by about 80 to 90% as large as those who are active smokers. They also discovered that these mechanisms that are affected interact to actually increase the risk of heart disease. Today, we have seen a total change in how cigarettes are viewed. We can no longer smoke on airplanes, in restaurants, or anywhere inside, and even some campuses have banned the use of cigarette smoke, such as UF's campus. We have obtained all of this research to help us understand the negative consequences of cigarettes, which has changed our stigma on cigarettes. I have just walked you through the background of cigarettes and then the individual consequences that it has on a person, as well as those around them through secondhand smoke. Could you imagine if we never had this research on cigarettes? Cigarettes would still be normal. We would still be smoking something and not know what was in it and not know how it was affecting our body. People would be dying and we would be questioning why. Science has unveiled the truth about cigarettes. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Do you think that cigarettes will ever be fully banned in the future?
That's a good question. Honestly, with the way we're moving, I definitely do. I'm also a health education and promotion major, and that's something that we look at a lot, is promoting better health, and prevention is a huge thing that we're moving towards in this field. So trying to get out things like this, like the negative consequences of cigarettes, to help people better understand that it's going to affect them in the long term, is a great way to completely ban cigarettes. So yes, I think one day in the far future, cigarettes will completely be gone. Any other questions?
How much do you think the price has changed?
The price has changed drastically for cigarettes. They started out as a cheap, convenient way to have a pastime, and now they're extremely expensive. The price is going up every day, and they're even taxed. So while this tax is helping our federal income, it's negatively affecting our bodies and the bodies of people around us.
Has there been any national recent legislation on cigarettes and their use?
Well, the thing that I've noticed the most is campuses like UF, coming to UF and seeing all the signs that you can't smoke even though you're outside was a huge thing for me, noticing the change from smoking to non-smoking. So yeah, it's happening every day. Any other questions?
Has there been a reduction in the amount of people who are getting cancer from cigarettes now that the
Definitely not. No. We are actually discovering more and more cancers every day through all of our research. That is why the U.S. Health Department has to annually publish a report on the negative consequences of cigarettes.
Do you think young people are still smoking cigarettes like they were 50 years ago? Or
I don't think so, because I think the media is calmed down a little bit. Like that 1949 commercial, we would never see that on TV today. We now see the tobacco speak commercials, stop tobacco, and things that are negative against tobacco more than positive.